I really don't, honestly, because it's just too much. And because you want to give them the freedom to explore. You don't need my approval for everyone.
Right.
Yeah. So bring the ones home that you know that meet the standard, because that's teaching standards.
I think that boys or men, they do that. I mean, I don't know. A lot of the men I've been around, they're not bringing home just anybody. They're bringing home just the one that, it's like that means a lot then. If I know, for example, my husband, and even other men I think I dated before my husband, that's a big deal if you're going to meet mom. Like that, that means we're not just kicking it. I mean, this is a big deal. So I do, and I don't know if his mom told him that, but I know that I feel like I sense that, the good men or the men that are short, they're bringing home the people that matter, that means something. But I don't know if they were told.
But who's having that conversation with them?
And I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean,
there's something to be said with when the mom says certain things to the son. That's just my experience.
Clock.
Right. Yes, that's my experience, Gigi.
Right.
So if we think, we're going to leave it to the dads, I don't leave everything that I say to my son to the men, because it comes off very differently.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm just honest and frank. Yes, he knows. Do not bring this chick to the house. Like, I don't want to see her. I don't want to meet her.
Okay, I'll say this.
I'm just telling you. That's what I don't bring her here.
And see, Mike,
because I'm a different kind of mom.
Did you have your dad or mom tell you don't bring that kind of person in our house?
My dad was very strict. I grew up in New York City. He had nothing but girls. He did not play. You couldn't even call a house, unless you said, Mr. Peanut, can I even call your house and talk to your daughter?
Right.
So he was a very strict.
Good for dad.
Right. So it wasn't as open.
Right.
In dating realms, they just did not play. They would liberal on some other things, but from a dating perspective, oh no, there was and he was the ruler of the kind who could call. So if you had to ask him, Mr. Peanut, can I call Lavelle or LSH? Can I call? And he would say yes or no. If he did not think you met the standards, he said no. You cannot call our house.
Right.
And so that was a no.
Right.
So that's where I'm coming from.
Right. That's what I said. I think.
That's what I said. We set the clock.
Right.
Women
I like
set
that.
The clock.
Set the clock.
We set the pace. We set the clock, the rhythm, however you want to use, whatever phrase that fits what it is you're trying to say. But I recently had to reset my son's clock, who had fallen because of not being with his wife. And it took him to a place where it was kind of dark. And I realized, and I had to just reset his clock. In other words, I had to reintroduce him to the feminine, soft side of life.
Right.
Because they were so busy fighting in the end that women then became like a battleground.
Yes.
And so I had to reset his clock.
Right.
And it taught me how to. When he became needful of it, it's like the thing that's inside of us became, it rose up in me. And I said, he needs me to be soft and to listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the moment it happened, he put his hand on my chest.
Wow.
Something he had not done for many years. And he's like the super duper guy. I remember last time I tried to crack him across the head. He said, "Oh, you hit like a girl." I said, "Oh, really? Let me hit you one more time." So, for him to, when I realized I was resetting his clock, I had also reset mine.
Wow.
So there are a lot of important pieces that wearing the right underwear, right? The right panties do fit into the whole model of this conversation, because at that moment I had to wear my mama panties.
Yeah, the big girl drawers.
Yes. There are a lot of different that's when I had to totally let go of who I was, how I saw he should be, or what I thought he should say, or speaking louder with more volume, and somehow I could be like his dad, which was never going to happen. And I said, I kept hearing him resonate, "You're not listening to me." Even though he was over talking me and not listening. But it taught me so much about myself.
Yeah.
And in that moment, the very thing that I speak of here, being that in the room with men, I was there with my son the same way, and it worked, but in another way.
How powerful is that?
Right.
Yeah. And I think, just as we're going to wrap up this segment of Talking Shit with LSH, Gigi, I think that we should still talk to our sons. And I think
Absolutely.
having my son first, I didn't think that what could I bring? Mm-hmm. And as he starts to get into the I'm liking girls, and I started talking to moms who had older sons who gave me that wisdom and insight, you have to talk to them.
Yeah.
You have to set their clock. And so we're not going to talk at this point about race and all that, but there was some clock setting shit going on in this household because I'm really clear and I'm very specific. Now, is he going to always follow? No, but he hears me because he knows I said it.
That exactly.
Do not
At
bring
least
that
you can
shit
say
home.
That
I'm telling you right now, it's just not going to happen. And you go somewhere else with it.
And he won't, because kids won't.
They hear right. Whether they say whether they say it out loud or not, it's there. It's right there.
Well, we got to make sure we say it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so funny. We were just having a conversation in the car before we got out about just something I was going through with my son, and just him listening to me. He still comes to me at 21 years old. He's come to me. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I see your power. It's visible. It's very present. Yeah.
Subtle. See, I wouldn't pick that up.
Right. That's why it's subtle.
It's
exactly.
it's this quiet power, and we all have it. We just have to figure out, because sometimes we adopt other people's power. The finger pointing and the neck rolling and all. That doesn't necessarily suit everybody's personality, everybody's panty personality. So we're going to wrap up this segment of Talking Shit with LSH. Thank everybody for joining this segment, and we're going to move into the next one. So thank you, guys. Okay, so that's the juice, everyone. Thank you for joining Talking Shit with LSH and the baddies. You've just been unleashed. Now go unleash a few more baddies in the world. Peace.